Hello, everyone. Yeah, as usual, thanks again for continuing to watch the videos and support them. I'm happy to make them and glad you guys enjoy them. And as always, this Q&A is gonna be pretty informal. Just feel free to shoot off any questions you want. As always, I'll probably fall behind, but I'll try my best to keep up with them. Yeah, I know there's a lot of questions that come through, and I like to try to read all of them. Um, Hello, Joey the Gamer. Welcome. If you guys can hear me, just give me a thumbs up or just shoot something in the chat so I know. Um, I know I have slow mode on the chat just to try to help keep up. Hello, Coaster Fan 09 Coasters and more. Hello, me Coasters. Hello, Favorite Tiger. Will Cedar Point get an RMC T-Rex? I'm not sure just because of how I've heard Steel Vengeance had some issues that Cedar Point, has to continue to address, so I'm not sure if they'll work with RMC again. I'd like to see them to do it, but not quite sure if they will. Logan Powell, will you ever make a Medusa review? I made a Bizarro review, so that one applies the same, just different paint scheme, but the rides identically to me. Max Hagenauer, will you ever see Top Gun Maverick? Yeah, I'll probably see that when it comes out on digital streaming. I recently saw the original Top Gun, probably about a month ago, and enjoyed the movie. Hello, Titanic. Oh, okay, sorry, MI Coasters. I'm guess that's from Michigan. Joey the Gamer, Wicked Cyclone or Twisted Cyclone? I prefer Wicked Cyclone just because it has a little more to it. Coaster Fan 09, have you been to Alabama Adventure? I have. I only had about an hour there, so I only got to ride Rampage twice, but I really like that coaster in the back row. Hello, Joy. My wedding's not until next year, just because we were waiting until, to see where the pandemic went, and we needed a year to plan from that point. Okay, MI Coasters, yeah, so that's probably for, I guess you've been to Michigan's Adventure then. If you don't, I'd love to hear how the Titan track's riding because I don't think Predator at Darien Lake's opened yet, and Wolverine Wildcat got it. Titanic, would you recommend Hurricane Harbor or Los Angeles? I haven't been there, but when I've looked at the slide lineup relative to what you have at Magic Mountain, I've always prioritized time at Magic Mountain just because the coaster lineup's so amazing there. Um, Michigan coasters. So I don't like sweet food in general, so there really isn't one I can give unless you count like, grapes or apples or like just standard off the shelf fruit. Nothing sweet. It's not me trying to be healthy. I just hate the taste. Max Hagenauer. I don't think it's weird you prefer Kentucky Flyer over Boss. Kentucky Flyer has more airtime and it's smoother. Lane Stevenson, thank you for joining. If you can't make it, not a problem. This will be posted for you to look at later. Joey the Gamer, I prefer Medusa over Batman the Dark Knight. I think Batman the Dark Knight's one of the weakest floorless coasters. It's not B&M's fault. They put what they could in that small space, but it just can't compete with the larger ones. Favorite Tiger, will Hershey Park RMC Wildcat? I feel like it's more likely you'll see some sort of like Titan track in that ride, considering it was GCI's first coaster. And I feel like they'll, especially with GCI being nearby, I feel like Hershey and GCI will want to keep that going in its original form as close as they can. And the layout's pretty good. It just needs to be smoothed out. Titanic, yes, I'm getting married next year. Joy, if one older B&M Hyper was to be removed, which would you pick? I can't think of any reason I'd want to remove a B&M Hyper, to be honest. I mean, my least favorite one is, at the time, Hollywood Dream, but that's just because of how just Japan's really strict with assigned seating, and I got put in the middle each time, so I feel like I would have liked that ride more if I could get towards the front or back. Michigan Coasters, Oscar's Wacky Taxi or Kentucky Flyer. Oscar's Wacky Taxi, Oscar's Wacky Taxi, you get more elements in rapid fire succession. Hello, Charged on PC. Popcan Studios, thank you for your reviews. I'm wondering, do you have any bucket list European parks left? Yeah, there's definitely parks I want to get to over there. Like, I haven't been to Gers Summerland. I want to get to Wallaby, Belgium. Yeah, and then obviously the parks are going to keep adding new rides, so there's plenty of incentive to go back. Michigan Coasters, thoughts on Chopsticks? I'm not a fan of Chinese food, so I've never eaten a Chopsticks. Charge on PC, how do you feel about Dominator King's Dominion? I like how it holds the speed in the first half. I just really miss how it doesn't have a 0G roll. Joey the Gamer. I don't know what will replace Goliath. I feel like it'll be a coaster. I want to see a launch coaster, but if Doctor Diabolicals goes well for Fiesta Texas, maybe they get a dive machine because there isn't one up this way. A Raptor would work well there. I just hope they get something. Logan Powell. I've only been to Tivoli Gardens once. I'd like to get back there. Titanic. Are lava lamps made of lava? No. Joy. Is Conda your biggest bucket list coaster? It might be. T Express is another one that's up there, and then DC Rivals just because of the backwards seat. Well, it looks like an awesome layout too. Favorite Tiger. Do you think B&M will ever build a tilt coaster? I'm gonna go with no, just because of how they get a sort of a similar gimmick using their the holding brake and the dive coaster. So I feel like they'll just keep doing that. Michigan coasters. Thoughts on beef jerky? It's okay. It's not one of my favorites, but I'll eat a piece here and there. Dynamic. Thoughts on the chicken coop in the underground? I don't know what you're referring to there. Are you talking about the Adventureland roller coaster? Because I don't remember there being a chicken coop. Logan Pal. I have played Planet Coaster. It's just hard to pick up and play that game because how much detail there is. Michigan coasters. Why is Orion called Onion? Probably just because we like to make fun of the world's tallest hypercoaster. Max Hagenauer. Sorry if this is a bit of a personal question. Will you not be able to go as many parks when being married? No, my fiance goes to parks with me. When we go on trips, it's not entirely about theme parks. Like, we might leave a park early to go get a nice dinner somewhere, or we might do a super touristy thing during the day, then go to a park later in the day. Like when we went to Virginia recently, we went to Colonial Williamsburg for half a day before going to Busch Gardens. Then we had an entire day at Busch Gardens. She's a fan of theme parks. She just doesn't like, for lack of a better word, like tacky amusement parks that are kind of like soulless. So like she's not into getting coaster creds. She likes more of the theme park experience. Logan Powell, Burger King, McDonald's. I'm not really a big fan of either, but I guess I'll say McDonald's just because they have better hours and better fries. Joey the Gamer. I do like Expedition Everest. Jake the Snake, best Disney coaster ever. Space Mountain at Magic Kingdom. I'm looking forward to seeing how Guardians and Tron could shake that up, though. Favorite Tiger. Do you think Michigan's Adventure will ever get a B&M Giga coaster? I do not. Jeff Cunningham. Do you think Aquaman Power Wave over Texas will be good? Yeah, I think that should be a nice addition for them. They could use another water ride, and it'll be neat having a launching water coaster like that. Michigan coasters, savory or salty food? I'll go with savory. Titanic. I did not see that. Oh, is the chicken coop that chicken restaurant at across from West Coast Racers? If so, I have not eaten there. Michigan coasters. My name is Mike. Joy, DoorDash fan. I think I've only used DoorDash once. I'd rather just go out and pick up the food myself because I feel like there's a higher chance of being warm when I get back to eat it. Not to mention the cost too. Logan Powell, do you think the shuttle loop would complement Silvercon? Yeah, it's a much different ride experience, and I can't wait to see that park reopen with all the rides back there. Joey the Gamer, thoughts on Iron Gwazi, one of the world's best coasters. Incredible pacing, very strong airtime, and probably my favorite probably one of my 3 favorite inversions on a coaster with the death roll. Titanic, yes, I did see the new Chip and Dale movie. I grew up watching Rescue Rangers, loved the show. The film didn't do what I expected, but that's not a problem because it felt like a Who's Framed Roger Rabbit sequel, and that's one of my favorite movies. Michigan coasters. Will Coaster Express as an RMC be better than Lightning Rod? I find it hard to beat Lightning Rod just because most coasters aren't going to have that same type of setting, but an RMC Coaster Express would be incredible. Joey the Gamer, Iron Gwazi or Steel Vengeance? You asked me that question a different day, I might give a different answer, but right now I'll say Steel Vengeance just because that's the length and quality. Favorite Tiger, what's your prediction on the B&M Surf Coaster? There was a leak, I think, by BGW fans that did a pretty good job breaking down the layout, and they're usually pretty accurate. It looks like a decent launch coaster. Should complement the rest of the park's offerings well. Jake the Snake, which Six Flags park besides Magic Mountain could get a Giga? I'd I'd say Great America if they could fit one in there, just because of how that park has the attendance for it, and it would become the park's big ride if they did that. Um, Chris Walsh, do you think Canada's Wonderland will get rid of Flight Deck and Time Warp? I could see Time Warp over Flight Deck just because that ride is much lower capacity. For Flight Deck, I could see them possibly doing some sort of refurbishment and getting new trains in there. Coasters in perspective, do you think Great Adventure needs some work? Um, I think the park looks fine. I think it gets a little more hate than it deserves. The coasters obviously dominate, but there are plenty of employees there who try hard, and I usually have good experiences there. Minnesota Thrills, glad you enjoyed the Dollywood review. And yeah, and hopefully that one helps. Joy, top countries you want to visit for the first time. I guess it counts more as a continent, but I really want to get to Australia sometime soon. Max Hagenauer, do you like a coaster on the moon as a stronger airtime but weaker positive G's? That would be a very hard credit to get getting up to the moon. Titanic. Why did I get banned from Busch Gardens Tampa when I let all the cheetahs loose as a publicity stunt for Cheetah Hunt's opening day? Yeah, I don't think any park will take lightly to letting the animals out. Civilian Satellite, thank you for joining. Thank you. Coaster Glitch, what do you do for a living that allows you to travel so much? I work as an engineer, so since COVID, I've been able to work remotely a lot of the time, so I can work in the hotel room and then go to a park in the evening, or what I've been doing, or I might have to travel for work, and if that happens, I could be visiting one of my company's other sites or a customer or a vendor, and I'm always willing to be the one who volunteers to travel, so that has helped. Joey the Gamer, Superman is my favorite ride, Six Flags New England. Charged on PC, favorite theme park resort with multiple parks. Disneyland Resort. It only has two, but I just love that resort and how it's set up. Coaster Maniac, I covered what I think will replace Goliath. I hope a launch coaster, but I could see a dive machine or a Raptor. Imperial Coaster, do you think Dorney Park is still in queue to get that Shuttle wood coaster? I imagine they would, just because work was clearly done for that. It just might be delayed. Logan Powell, glad you enjoyed the obscure coasters reviews. Titanic, oh, I'd ride Dodonampa and pretty much any speed. Michigan Coasters, well, do you think Six Flags will market King Ka as the only strata if Dragster closes? No, I think they'll just continue to market it as the world's tallest coaster for as long as they can. Jake the Snake, what steel coaster could Six Flags Fiesta Texas get next? Not sure because they have a really strong lineup. I'd like to see an intense launch coaster, so I'd love to see something like Max Force there. Joy, any coasters you can't ride at Michigan's Adventure or Knobles without a child? Um, I don't think there are any there you'll run into a problem with, but I know Cedar Fair can sometimes be a little tricky with those kiddie coasters. Glass Boys, I do remember you. Favorite Tiger, do you think the Giga coaster is still planned for Knott's Berry Farm? I feel like they're going to go to the city with multiple layouts to see which one they can get through. The one I'm wondering, because that revised hyper plan showed, it's more like a mini hyper in that it dives under the road, which would be pretty expensive. I'm wondering if there's someone they can fit a Giga by going across the road over there, just because that way they wouldn't have to build that expensive tunnel underground. But Knott's knows better than me. Imperial Coaster, I do enjoy Dorney Park. It's nice going to a park with a lineup that balanced without much lines. Popcan Studios, you may have covered this in a ranking, but what do you think are the top three coasters in Europe? Well, one of the ones in Europe that's at the top for me is Ride to Happiness. And that one's not from RMC. Michigan Coasters, Chicken and Rice. Yeah, I like eating that. Thomas the Train, what coaster do you think Hershey Park will get next? I could see them getting another B&M, whether it be a wing or a dive machine. I think that'd be a nice addition for them. Dynamic, do you know any good Yo Mama jokes? I'd go to Reddit for that. Don't know too many of those ones. Twisted Gwazi, what's your dream element that's never been built? Um, Not sure because I most of the elements I like are out there. Um, I just like when coaster manufacturers can surprise us with something new. Charge on PC. What coaster do you think King's Dominion will get next? I think it'll be the Volcano replacement. I'm guessing it'll be something from B&M. Just not quite sure. What they'll go with. I'd love if they went for the Mach Extreme Spinner. I just don't know if they would. Imperial Coaster. Do you think any other Six Flags parks will get a large size B&M dive? I think so, just because of how that should be a really marketable attraction. It's high uptime, and it's not going to break the bank because it can do a short layout. Cameron Bueller. I do think Dragon Spire will still happen. Yeah. Do you think Untamed is too big of a step up from Rock and Roller Coaster? Are you talking about the Canobie one or the Wallaby one? The Wallaby one is quite a bit of step up, but I'd put Untamed and Rock and Roller Coaster, the Canopy one, on the same level. Zero G coasters. Fun Spot Orlando could get a new coaster. Not quite sure what they'd want to fit in there. Probably something super compact. Maybe like a super compact launch coaster of some kind. Michigan coasters. Thoughts on ERT nights at Cedar Point? Do you mean like the Platinum Pass holder nights? If so, I've done those, and it's a great time to get re-rides on things. Minnesota Thrills. I feel like a more a Titan Track Wildcat is more likely. Dynamic. How much longer till B&M actually innovates against a generic Camelback machine number 2? They've come up with some unique ride models. Like they came up with the dive coaster. They came up with the inverted coaster. When B&M comes out with a new concept, it's going to work well, which is really what they prioritize, having high uptime and quality. Channel. What's your favorite bobsled coaster? Bobbin and Heidi Park is really good. Imperial Coaster. What do you think will replace Volcano at King's Dominion? Just touch that. Probably some sort of large B&M, but I'd love a Mach Extreme Spinner. Yeah. If you guys could hold up for a second, I think I fell pretty far behind in the comments. I will try my best to get caught up. Red Evil, will you ever make a review on California's Great America? I'd like to get back there just because I haven't visited on a standard day since 2014. Titanic, I'd ride Steel Vengeance even with trims. It's a great ride no matter what. FOY, when do you think Great Escape will get a new coaster? Not sure, but they really could use one. Imperial Coaster, I don't know which Six Flags park will get a Scream and Swing, but that could be a ride that clone easily because they love working with SNS. Joey the Gamer, I do remember a kid saying hello to me towards the back of Superman. I've had a few people do that, so I'm not quite sure which was you, but I'm glad I said hi to you and saw you. Glass Boys, not sure what park will be the longest to get a new coaster. Some of the neglected Cedar Fair parks are easy picks, though. Logan Pal, I would ride Dodonampa backwards, but I know it would be could be a painful experience. Jake the Snake, where would the next Giga go? I feel like Cedar Fair is the park that is most likely to add a Giga. So just looking at which of their parks which of their parks would they possibly give a Giga to? Yeah, I don't think they give one to World's Fun. I'd say maybe Great America if they can somehow work out a height limit because I feel like that park gets a high enough attendance it could work there. Best drink I've ever had, I guess milk fresh from a farm. Michigan coasters, yeah, I'd take inversions on B&M Hyper. Charge on PC. Which comment was that was the most hearted? Favorite Tiger. I could see RMC doing another launch coaster, but it'd definitely be on a steel coaster. Walmart 18. I don't think Hershey would get a Raptor, but I could be wrong. I feel like they get a different. They get like a hybrid if they went with the RMC. Thomas the Train. What ride would you rope drop at Disneyland? I have good experience rope dropping Space Mountain, especially if you use the single rider line. You can usually get like 6 or 7 rides in a row. And that ride usually the long line. Michigan Coaster's favorite color, royal blue. Imperial Coaster. I don't think Dorney would get a Giga. I feel like they're more likely to get a water coaster over a Giga coaster. Coaster Post. Oh, I'd love a Beast RMC. There'd be so much RMC could do with that layout. Glass Boys. How many barrel rolls do you think are possible in a row at the end of a coaster? Just look at Colossus or any of the 10 inverting Intamins, and that's pretty much your answer. That is about as far as you can take a slow roll with that before it starts getting repetitive. Um, Quacken's Coaster Channel. Who do you think will get the next Mach Extreme Spinner? Based off what I'm just some rumors I'm hearing, I'm guessing maybe Holiday Park in Germany because Ride to Happiness was so well received, and they are getting a Tomorrowland area at Holiday Park. Coaster Insanity. I don't know what Worlds of Fun's getting, but I wouldn't be surprised if they got something like a Gerstlauer Infinity, like Hang Time, just because I think that's a relatively cheap edition, and I think that would work well with Worlds of Fun's attendance. Um, I'd love to see at Michigan Coasters at Cedar Point. I'd love to see some sort of boardwalk Woody. Imperial Coaster. Do you think Ninja at Magic Mountain will be removed by 2029? It's a possibility with how those suspended coasters started to drop like flies. Civilian Satellite. Do I prioritize low capacity coasters or the rides I anticipate enjoying most at a new park? I go for the big ticket ride first, just because I'd hate to for the top ride to break down and miss out on it. There are exceptions. If there's a low capacity ride on the way, I'll hit it, but I'm not going to spend too much time knocking out low capacity over the quality ride. First drop junkies, you're welcome for how I'm doing this. Imperial Coaster, do you think Funtime will get fewer buyers due to the accident at Icon Park? It's an absolute tragedy what happened there. There are plenty of other Funtime drop towers that work out there and have proven to be safe. It sounds like that particular drop tower had an issue where it was modified after it was installed, and it sounded like that was the issue rather than the ride itself. So I think Funtime will still have a spot in the industry. Michigan Coasters. I don't know where the next B&M invert would go. I'd love to see one at Canada's Wonderland. Just thinking of a park that could use a good inverting coaster. Dynamic. It's interesting how people consider bobsled coasters, but not alpine slides. But they're both fun to me. Coasters 1212. I use a Canon G7X for most of my off-ride footage. Hello Jupiter. First drop junkies. I consider Alpenguy's first half to be pretty intense. Michigan Coasters. Is my profile picture good? It's a little hard for me to see in the chat. Sorry, it's just really small. Cameron Bueller. I think Busch Gardens Williamsburg will add at least 2 more launch coasters. Maybe after that they'll slow down, but they love those launch coasters. So Jay Wade, I haven't watched a POV for Guardians intentionally because I want to be surprised when I ride it later this year. So I can't comment on that one. Dynamic, I don't know what Cookie Clicker is. Imperial Coaster, do you think a coaster like Max forcefully built again? I could see it. I know that ride was expensive and has had some downtime, but it is quite popular. Jam Cam Rail Fanning, I could see Great Adventure adding a dive coaster. Those are really marketable additions. Joey the Gamer. Okay, you were the one with the group boys? Yeah, I do remember you. I think that was Good Friday? First drop junkies. When going to Busch Gardens, what do you suggest riding right after Pantheon? Tempesto, if you can get on that before the line gets there. Blaine Williams, what do you think will replace Vortex at Kings Island? Not sure, but that's a pretty big plot of land to work with. Joey the Gamer. Mako is one of my favorite hypercoasters. Great airtime. Imperial Coaster. I could see the inversion record being beaten. That seems like something Cedar Point would want. Jake the Snake. Best defunct coaster ever. Dueling Dragons is certainly up there just because it was such a forceful B&M. And, I love the dueling interaction. Channel. Least intense coaster with an inversion. Least intense. Gekion Live Coaster comes to mind. I know it has a spinning element, but most of that ride is really slow, and it's not high off the ground either. Heck, half the ride's a dark ride. Favorite Tiger. I don't think B&M would do a wood coaster. Twisted Gwazi. One ride model I'd love to see more of would be that the free fly model that SS made. That ride looked really cool. Joey the Gamer. Fury 325 is one of the best coasters out there. The speed and elements are fantastic. Michigan coasters, black or blonde dogs? Um, Not sure. I mean, I more prefer certain breeds like, Dachshunds and Corgis just because they're so delightfully awkward. First drop junkies. I'd like to see Six Flags Great Adventure get another launch coaster. Imperial coaster. Do you think Six Flags will work with Vekoma or get an extreme coaster for their lower parks? Um, Maybe. Not sure if I think Vekoma's budget would work for Six Flags, but I just know that Sensei's tried to use SNS for the U.S. parks if possible. Joey the Gamer. I prefer Fury over Intimidator 305. FOY, is Comet Grayscape a top 5 Woody? It was for me back when I had Resume wood coasters and back when it ran better in the early 2000s. It hasn't run as well in recent years. It's still a good wood coaster, pretty smooth and some airtime. Coaster Maniac. Gatekeeper's a pretty good dive coaster. I love the scale of it. Infinite Coasters. I don't know a Great Adventure Live for their 50th. Dive Machine could be an idea again, just because I know Six Flags loves adding, multiple things to their parks. Um, Imperial Coaster. I'll give Coaster Express another try after the retracking. Infinite Coasters, Cyclone Style GCI would be really cool at Cedar Point by the beach. Yeah, that'd be nice. Glass Boys, I already mentioned how I felt about the surf coaster. Should be a nice addition for SeaWorld. Doug Ronald, do you know why Accelerator has been down for months? I'm guessing the part they need is back ordered from Intamin, but the park hasn't said anything. Ginger Cat 21. I don't know which parks I haven't been to that I definitely won't go to. That's hard to say. Joey the Gamer. I prefer Dragster over Ka because of the view and more freeing restraints. Michigan coasters. What coaster could take over Coaster Express as the worst? It needs to be something with the length and amount of pain as Coaster Express. If your favorite flat ride and dark ride were in your coaster rankings, where would they place? My favorite dark ride would be in the top 25 coasters. Favorite flat ride, I'm not quite sure where that would go. Probably in the top 100 somewhere, but I can't say for sure. Imperial Coaster, do you think the UK will get a Giga Coaster sometime soon? If a park were to do it, it would have been Thorpe, and it doesn't look like they're doing it, so I'm not sure, to be honest. Warriors EA Monkey 16. If you could own one coaster and ride whenever you want, but it has to be somewhere somewhat obscure, what would it be? Um, does Rorosaurus count as obscure? Because I mean that's a smaller ride at a small park, but that's a great ride. Yet me 33. Not sure what's happened to the slingshot, but I mean it. I'd rather Kings Island focus on non-upcharge attractions if possible. Imperial Coaster. I could see Cedar Point relocating the wheel. Michigan Coasters. I love Massachusetts. First Drop Junkies. Best night ride Busch Gardens. At the Williamsburg Park. I'd say the ride that improves the most at night is Apollo's Chariot, but Pantheon at night is insane with no lights. Logan Powell, my favorite boomerang outside of the giant inverted ones is Speed of Sound of Wallaby. Love the music and theming. Solar Winds, that hyper at Thorpe looks pretty cool because it's gonna have such a unique layout. It's short, but it looks really fun. Infinite Coasters, you could see a B&M at Fun Spot Atlanta. I'd like to see one there. I just don't know if Fun Spot has the budget for a B&M. Blaine Williams, do you think an inversion-based layout on a wood coaster is possible? Possible, but likely, I don't think so. Cameron Bueller, Busch Gardens could get another large-scale B&M. I mean, SeaWorld has worked with that company multiple times, and that park has the attendance to support it. Imperial Coaster, what's your favorite Pinfari coaster? Probably one of their Zyklons that has like a 3-car train that really gives you good ejector airtime on the drop. Joey the Gamer, I don't have a dog, but my parents have 2 adorable beagles. Charge on PC. I would enjoy if Lightning Rod had an inversion in there. The layout doesn't need it, but it would be gravy. Bruce Gibson, what do you think CGA's next coaster will be? Probably some sort of B&M, Hyper, or Giga, just because they need that big airtime steel coaster. Mike Met, going to Great Adventure in 2 weeks. What's your first ride be? I recommend starting with Superman just because it's near the front and it has long lines. So if you can beat the crowds there, that's beneficial. Then you can usually go over to King Ka once it starts running before it inevitably breaks down at some point in the day. Drew Dog, I think Invader's underrated. Nice layout, small but several pops of airtime. Twisted Gwazi, least favorite park, probably NASCAR Speed Park, just because they lied about ride availability, and that was just that park was in a very sad state. Imperial Coaster, most polarizing coaster, probably Sky Rush, just because of how those restraints can make or break the experience for you. Michigan Coasters, Fury 325 over Falcon's Fury or Fury at Bobby on Land. Joy, I've not ridden Stunt Pilot. Imperial Coaster, I don't know what Phantasialand will add next, but they very well could add a launched Raptor from Intamin. Joey the Gamer, my favorite night ride is either Voyage at Holiday World or Lightning Rod at Dollywood. Both rides are really dark and have aggressive layouts. Appalachian enthusiast, where do you think the 2023 European Axis is going? So Holiday Park's a possibility because we know they're getting a pretty sizable addition next year. I think Port Aventura just said they were adding a first in Europe coaster in 2023, so maybe that could be them as well, or it could be someone we haven't brought up yet. Coaster Bros, do you agree with my list? Only ridden 31 coasters. Your favorite is Iron Rattler. Of the ones you listed, yeah, Iron Rattler's the best there. Joey the Gamer, I prefer Marvel over DC. I have no ideas for a good username. Thank you for the kind words. Favorite Tiger, do you think Disney will ever get a B&M Giga coaster or an RMC Raptor? No, they'd rather just invest in, their highly themed coasters. They're more accommodating. Imperial Coaster, I don't know if Cedar Point will theme their next coaster, but I'm sure they'll add something notable, though. Charge on PC, thoughts on Jolly Rancher Remix? Definitely made a notable boomerang now. I'm not sure if I'll enjoy it because I really hate the smell of candy, but I think most people will enjoy that. Joy, favorite night ride, Six Flags Great America. So I've never been at that park once night falls, but I imagine Raging Bull will be pretty good at night. Drew Dog, favorite non-coaster ride. I'll go with Rise of the Resistance, amazing dark ride. Rowan, which parks are the best all-around coaster line for people who progressively conquering a fear of coasters? Um, I'd say Six Flags Magic Mountain is pretty good just because of how they have, coasters from small to big, and they also have a hyper coaster that doesn't have the most intense drop, which allows you to really build up. Tristan B, what would you recommend riding first at Holiday World? If you care about the water park, those water coasters are smart to hit early because they get longer lines than the coasters. Thomas the Train, what would you rope drop at Canada's Wonderland? Wonder Mountain Guardian easily. That is the lowest capacity ride in the park. Coaster Maniac, I think Canobie's next edition will be a water park. They really need it. Drew Dog, Invader is awesome at night. There's no lights back there. Imperial Coaster, could you see Japan getting a B&M sometime soon? I could see Universal adding another one. Or Nagashima maybe could, or Fuji Q, but I imagine one will happen sometime in the next decade. Channel, I consider the RMC topper track wood, but it's definitely a different type of wood coaster. Mike Met, thank you for the congratulations. Matt Steyer, same to you. Logan Powell, I don't know what IB parks will do next. I want them to focus on improving the parks they own. Joey the Gamer, I prefer Superman the Ride over Millennium Force. Goodbye, Michigan Coaster. Charge on PC. I think I-305 is more intense than Skyrush for me personally, but both are super intense. It just depends if you consider positive G's and whip or airtime more intense. Matthew Connell. Yeah, I had another live stream about a month ago, so I got 1,000 more subscribers pretty quickly. Alpha Swirl, will over Georgia get the SNS access? They could. Again, Six Flags likes working with SNS. King Leo, you've never seen my face. Yeah, I like to make most of my videos more about the coasters in the parks rather than myself. That's why I don't vlog. Skinny Boy 1000, favorite flat ride, Black Mamba at Wiener Prater. That ride's insane. Good usernames are Raid. Grave Enter could get a multi-launch coaster in the near future. Solar Winds, Goliath Night Ride be sick. Yeah, it just depends how that ride's lit. I just haven't seen it. Twisted Gwazi, another B&M would be welcome at Universal. I'd like to see something on a studio side. They could use another big coaster to, better attract people over there rather than just sending everyone to Islands of Adventure. Imperial Coaster, biggest park in the U.S. I haven't visited. Probably any of the parks in Colorado. Joey the Gamer, favorite water ride, easily Splash Mountain. Matthew Connell, glad you liked the Twisted Timbers review. Lighted coasters, my favorite drop tower is easily, the Tower of Terror type rides at Disney, specifically Guardians. Charge on PC, I personally find Positive G's more intense over airtime. Hello the Haunt Life. Joey the Gamer, which ride looks the best at night? I really like the look of Velocicoaster, how they light up the Raptor paddock. Matthew Connell, better water coaster, Wildebeest, Mammoth, or Black Anaconda. After my 2021 rides, Black Anaconda, that ride had really good airtime in most hills. Logan Powell, would you rather go on a ride that only had a launch in the front or ride a coaster that had intense pullouts in the back? I guess I'll go with the launch, but I like both. Good usernames are overrated. What's the strongest airtime you've ever experienced? There are a few rides that come to mind. Like Wild Train and some of the RMCs have really aggressive airtime. Sky Rush is up there for sure. Expedition G-Force is up there too. El Toro. There's quite a few candidates. The Haunt Life, I have been to Great America and I have a review for that park. Schwargies, I have a review on Frontier City, but it's a charming park. It just could use more thrill rides. King Leo, thoughts on Adventureland in Iowa? It's a nice looking park. I love Monster. There really wasn't any other ride that really blew me away, but it's a solid park for what it is. Baba Booey, I do go to some enthusiast events. Good usernames are overrated. Scariest ride you've ridden. I have a review on this one, but it's Nothing But Net at the Zero Gravity Park in Dallas. I actually got hurt on that ride. Entirely my fault, but that ride was intense, dropping, I think it was 13 stories with no cable and no bungee into a net. Alpha Swirl, weirdest park I've been to. I've been to some weird ones in Japan. One that comes to mind is Kolmarden Zoo, just because the fact that park has an RMC that big is just surprising. Hello Arlo Production, Joey the Gamer. I'll probably see the new Jurassic World movie that comes out on streaming. I have no ideas for a good username. I don't think RMC will be short on work anytime soon because they prove with Zadra they can build a really good ground up hybrid. Joy, top 3 drops you've experienced backwards and sideways. The 2 that come to mind are the Mach Extreme spinners I've gone on. Levi B21, how do you upload 9 million videos a day? I have a pretty good system, and I have a lot in backlog, so I can just pick and choose what I want to put up. The Quackens Coaster channel, I didn't apply to Hollywood Nights this year just because I knew I wasn't going to go, so I didn't want to try to take a spot from someone. Charge on PC, why do you prefer Silver Dollar City to Dollywood? Better theming. Crowds for the lines for the coasters are usually more manageable, especially Outlaw Run, which is always a walk on. And their signature attractions more reliable. Drew Dog, when I go to a park, I'll hop into the big ride right away. It's wherever I want to go on first. I'll happily hop on it. Coaster Maniac, how many credits do you have? I think it's near 1,160, but I don't have the list right in front of me. Bruce Gibson, top 3 rides at Magic Mountain in order. Twisted Colossus 1, X2 2, probably Tatsu number 3. Yeah, sorry, I know I fell behind again. I'll try to get caught up. Good usernames are overrated. I prefer Hershey over Great Adventure. Yeah, it's me, 33. Favorite non-Disney Universal Dark Ride. I'm probably going to forget one by saying this. I know I have a whole video on it. I feel like Symbolic at Efteling might be the top one, but it could be another one at at Warner Brothers World Abu Dhabi. Joey the Gamer, Superman, and Bizarro. I prefer the Superman theme. Skinny Boy 1000, thoughts on Cyclone at Coney Island? Love that ride. Great classic wood coaster. Arlo Production, coolest backyard coaster. There was that one that came out in, I think it was California, that had like the launch. That one blew me away. The fact they put that much theming and effort into do a backyard coaster. Pigeon on Bread, favorite coaster color scheme. I really like Patriot World of Fun. Good usernames are overrated. I feel like Wildcats are more likely to get a Titan track rather than an RMC, just because I know that was GCI's first coaster and they're nearby. Solar Winds, favorite coaster at Thor Park. Probably Stealth right now, just because I like that launch and how intense the ride is. Civilian Satellite, any non-coaster park or standalone attractions you're looking forward to? I want to get to that Meow Wolf Omega Mart in Vegas, just because that looks so weird. Charge on PC, most amount of rides on a coaster in a single day. It's probably Outlaw Run in 2020. There was a day I went to Silver Dollar City where all the other major coasters were closed, and I pretty much just rode that for like 4 or 5 hours straight. Um, yeah, because I remember I rode that ride over 100 times in 2020, and most of those rides were on a single day. Hello, how it works? The Coaster Bros, how do I make my channel blow up like yours? Make videos you like making, and if you don't like making the videos, then you shouldn't be making them. Matt Stayer, Fury 325 is easily my favorite of the B&M Gigas. Dopamine coasters, I touched on most violent airtime moment, but Wild Train at Fantasiana has some aggressive moments, and then one I just rode last week, Phoenix's Double Down the back row. That is a really aggressive moment. Twisted Gwazi, unused IP I'd love to see in a park. I'm wearing the shirt right now, and I love Chippendale, so I'd love to see Disney make a Chippendale attraction. Don't know if they would, but I'd love to see it. Elevator Yoda Roblox. I have been to Six Flags Great America, and my favorite ride there is Max Force. Favorite Tiger. I have been evac from multiple different rides. I've been evac from Oscar's Wacky Taxi on the brake run, evac from Roller Soaker on the brake run, evac from Talon at Dorney Park on the lift hill right before a thunderstorm rolled in. I was evacuated from the People Mover at Disney last year. There might have been more, but those are the 4 that come to mind right away. Infinite Coasters. Yeah, I'd love to see some more Jaws attractions at Universal. Hello, that guy you know. Yeah, sorry, just got lost in the chat. Schwargies. Yeah, I'd love to see more coasters in the Texas and Oklahoma area. Joy, favorite coaster YouTube channels. I look for videos that are good reviews and countdown. So I more look for the type of content rather than watching one particular channel religiously. Good usernames are rated. I think the Beast is properly rated by most people. Little high, not a little high, very high in amusement today though. Paul G, I probably won't be at Canobie this weekend. I'm busy for Memorial Day. Elevator Yoda. I don't have a Raging Bull Nano coaster, but I imagine that was a fun one to make with the twisted layout. Channel best part for flat rides. Probably Wiener Prater, just because they have so many over there and some that are absolutely insane. Joey the Gamer. Cyclone 1983 or Thunderbolt. Probably Cyclone its initial year was one of the best wood coasters out there from what I've heard. The Coaster Bros. If Hawaii had a coaster, what model would it be? Assuming they have hilly terrain over there, I feel like that'd be a perfect place to get some sort of mountain coaster. Imperial Coaster. That's a shame that Silverbolt and Dimeback are both closed. Yeah, because that's obviously their 2 best coasters. Charge on PC. Third most intense coaster, King's Dominion. Maybe Anaconda, just because of how strong that start is, or Toonbeely if you got a super flippy ride. Flight of Fear also has a pretty strong first half. Skinny Boy 1000, favorite coaster at Kings Island. I'll go with Orion. Logan Powell, most obscure coaster you've ridden. Maybe some of those zipline coasters, like there's one in between Kentucky Kingdom and what's it? And Holiday World that not many people have ridden. Bat Chaser. That one's a pretty fun ride. Upbeat Terraria. How many credits do you have now? Around 1,160. Good usernames are overrated. Do you ever plan to go to South America or Africa for the coasters there? I'd probably go there on like a trip, and if I'm over there, I'd probably try to hit at least some of the local parks so they have an interesting ride. If I went there to those places, it wouldn't be exclusively for the coasters though. How it works, I have an entire video going in my top coasters. That guy, I can edit coasters. I can edit most of the videos pretty quickly, so that I can just release them, pretty easily. Titanic, what do you think of El Toro Ryan giving you a shout out? Yeah, I mean, here's a shout out for him because he makes those amazing problematic coaster videos. Um, Toxic, what's your favorite indoor coaster? Um, Probably Mindbender at Galaxyland. That's a very forceful ride. Good usernames are overrated. How bad are crowds at Knobles on weekends in late June? So, because Knobles doesn't do wristbands in the weekend, lines are usually pretty manageable on weekends. Even if they look long, their operations is so fast the lines move. Alessandro Tenorio Buki, I am not going to Hollywood Nights. I didn't apply for this year. Joey the Gamer, yeah, Six Flags New England's a good home park because of that top two. Charge on PC. I make the videos when I have free time in the weeknights, and then just basically schedule them to show up, later in the week or even weeks ahead at the time. Uh, Levi B21. I've never gotten a rollback on a launch coaster per se. I've had failed launches though. Titanic. Yes, I did ride Roller Soaker. It was just okay. Um, Solar Winds. What defunct attraction would you want to bring back? Eagle Fortress. Never rode it, but that ride looked insane. Daniel Keenan. I think Jersey Devil's drop is pretty well received if you get in the back row. That drop's awesome back there. Joey the Gamer, would you ever make a backyard coaster? Probably not, just because I'd rather use my time and money to travel to other parks, so I can ride a bigger coaster than one I can make in the backyard. Twisted Gwazi, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing B&M try another Hyper Twister. Coasters 1212. Have you ever accidentally run a Taylor Bybee while at a park? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's been at like the same day I've been at Hollywood Nights and stuff. I haven't met him, but I'm pretty sure he's been at the parks those days. Coaster Bros. Yeah, enjoy meeting the president of Frontier City. I mean, like I said, that park has really nice theming. Coaster Maniac. I consider Orion a Giga because I go off of how much height is used, and it has a 300-foot drop. Ross Waldman going to Ohio for the first time. Got 2.5 days at Kings Island, 2 full days at Cedar Point besides night rides and Beast. Any advice? Yeah, enjoy your time there. At Cedar Point, just look at how the wind is playing out and prioritize the rides that are likely to shut down the wind as early as possible. Drew Dog, I have not ridden Bad Apple at King's Dominion, but Troikas are usually okay to me, and I haven't done the zip line, the Vegas Strip. Favorite Tiger. My prediction for the next Cedar Point coaster will be something that breaks the inversion record. Good usernames are rated. I keep track of my coasters using an Excel spreadsheet. Shade Delanty, what's the best Raptor? I like the original layout best for like Wonder Woman or Railblazer. How it works. I have ridden Iron Gwazi. I have a whole review on it. That ride's amazing. Awesome in any row, but extra special on the back. Mike Met, you're driving from Wisconsin, a great adventure. One park you should check out on the way. I'd say Knobles just because it's such a unique park with an amazing wood coaster in Phoenix. Coaster Bros, I live in Oklahoma. You think I should go to Holiday World, Kentucky Kingdom, Magic Springs, or Wonderland? Before you say Six Flags over Texas, you're going there this month. Of those parks, you said Holiday World's the best of the bunch, just between their customer service and wood coaster lineup. Our low production. Queue times is pretty good to tell how lightning rod's been running because you can get the ride's uptime for the past week and see specifically how it's doing day by day. There's also another website I think it's like called DW John Star or Dollywood wait times that you can look up lightning rod's performance at any day, ever since the ride opened. Elevator Yoda, yeah, I agree. The Demon Station music's epic. Joey the Gamer, I do not know who that is. Logan Powell, worst transition on a coaster. Now, I haven't ridden it, but if you've ever looked up the transition of Shaman out of that, I think the second corkscrew, that's comically bad. Just look at a video on that. I was stunned when someone pointed that out to me. Doozyville, favorite water ride in the U.S., easily Splash Mountain. Drew Dog, would you say Tempesto is painful? If you ride in the very back of a car where you don't have legroom, it can be, but I like in the front two rows of a car. Titanic, best sandwich ever. I had a really good cheesesteak down the road from Sesame Place. I think it was something Comfort Foods. That place was amazing. Upbeat Terraria. I'd love to see either a modern wood coaster Carowinds or just RMCing Hurler. Coaster Bros. Roller Soakers at Hershey. Matthew Cornell. I don't know when the POV for Airy Force One will be available. Probably shortly after it opens. Solar Winds. Most controversial roller coaster opinion. I really like Rocket at Universal, and I know a lot of people hate that ride. Charge on PC. Best hang time on any coaster. Ride to Happiness has some awesome hang time, especially because you're spinning through it. That guy sketchiest ride you've been on at a major park. It's hard for me to come up with one for that one. Sorry. Maybe I'd say Krakatoa at Universal Volcano Bay, just because the airtime is shockingly strong. Considering you have no restraints. Sorry, I fell behind in the comments again and lost my place. Joey the Gamer, T-bars or U-bars? I like the T-bars. Charge on PC, strongest positive Gmo on any coaster. I'd say Chimera. Those vertical loops pulled some insane Gs. Good usernames are overrated, most underrated park. Warner Brothers World Abu Dhabi, Universal and Disney quality dark rides. Channel is Dododonpa, different credit. I don't think count as a different credit when they replaced the top hat with a loop just because it was one element. But if they did more extensive changes, it could have been. Solar Winds, the most underrated B&M invert is my favorite. I love Osiris at Park Asterisk. Some weird airtime for an inverted coaster. Good usernames are overrated. I'm not sure what Cedar Point will do at Dragster. I'd like to think they'll try reopening it, but it looks like Accelerator's having some trouble too, so I'm not sure if they're just getting fed up with those Accelerator coasters. Joey the Gamer, I prefer Cedar Fair to Six Flags. Matthew Cornell, why is King Kong more reliable than Dragster? It cycles less trains, and it also doesn't have to deal with the wind as often as Dragster. Twisted Gwazi, I can't think of any coasters I prefer in the middle off the top of my head. Charge on PC, fourth best coaster in Virginia. Probably Alpengeist. Good usernames overrated. Best family coaster you've ridden. It depends how you define family coaster. If you go off height limit, I'd say Phoenix and Knoebels just because it's a 42-inch height requirement, but that ride's, pretty wild considering it has that height limit. For a true family coaster, I guess I'd say Hagrid's if that counts, just because it's such an engaging experience start to finish. Shade Delaney. I've probably seen X2 run 2 trains, but it was a long time ago. Usually it runs 1 for me. Thank you for ID Entertainment. Bruce Gibson, I love Lagoon. Very unique park. Coasters 1212. My favorite coaster in Florida is Iron Gwazi. Ross Waldman. So I have intentionally avoided POVs of Cosmic Rewind because I don't want to be spoiled. I haven't watched any, dedicated vlogs to that ride, but the few things I've heard is that it's a really great ride. But I'm sure there's videos out there explaining how good it is. Good usernames overrated. I would have tried Montana Rusa Aladelta, and I probably would have regretted it. Hello, Music of the Thrills. Variety Entertainment, best rip-off theme park admission price you paid for. If you mean like the most expensive ticket, not getting a bang for my buck, probably when I went to the Kalahari and very few things were open. The Hero's Advisor, enjoy Canobie this week. Dynamic, what's your favorite way to kill Peeps in Roller Coaster Tycoon? If you ever looked up the Son of Beast trainer, probably finding unique combinations where you could put like bobsled coasters on weird track. Like I think I made one where I put a bobsled coaster on the compressed air launch coaster, and seeing the bobsled shoot off the tower was quite entertaining. Joey the Gamer, do you like JB's barbecue at Six Flags New England? That's pretty good. I don't like this. I don't like barbecue sauces, but their meats are good. Upbeat Terraria. Fury 325 does look visually appealing, especially how it interacts with the entrance. Joy, Dragster is closed all year. Joshua Eoff, favorite RMC, favorite coaster, Lightning Rod. Um, Coaster Bros, you like Wave Breaker better than Thunderation, Pandemonium, Big Apple Coaster, and Steel Lasso? I actually like Big Apple Coaster best of those coasters you just said. Good usernames overrated. Jankiest coaster you've ridden? Well, I just mentioned it. Big Apple Coaster with the old trains is pretty janky. I remember going. I was in the front of the back car when it went through the loop, and I remember the headrest in front of me came like this close to hitting my hand, and I was stunned at that clearance. Charged on PC. Twisted Timbers is really strong airtime, even by RMC standards. Mike Met, Curly's Comfort Foods. That sounds correct. I was getting Curly's mixed up with Maury's Piers, but I guess there's another Curly's. So I'm probably gonna cut this off at 9 o'clock just because I feel my voice starting to go and need to have dinner. But I'll try to get to the last few questions. So if you want to get your last question in, try to get it in the next 30 seconds or so, and I'll try to get to it before logging off. Paul G, I did ride Curse of Dark Castle. It was probably similar to like Transformers in terms of quality. The visuals weren't quite as good, but I did like the unique story. Titanic, if a coaster has every part of it replaced, is it the same coaster? I don't count retracking just as a new credit, even if you do, replace all the steel on a ride like Hulk. But I can see the argument for it. Music of the Thrills. I'm not really big into making parody videos. I know other people do it though. Doozyville, smoothest wood coaster you've been on. Phoenix at Knobles is amazingly smooth. They take such good care of that ride. Joey the Gamer, I love Hagrid's. Very engaging and long ride. Good usernames O'Ray, best coaster in Europe. Probably Untamed at Wallaby Holland. I love that coaster. Twisted Gwazi, favorite element with no airtime or hang time. Probably Dododampa's launch. Charge on PC, worst B&M. I would go with Apocalypse back when it was a stand-up coaster. Hero's Advisor, you only have 70 credits at 12 parks. That's a pretty good credit to park ratio, though. Wicked Sick, Funky Fresh, Roller Coaster Enthusiast. I have ridden Fly. I have a review on it. Love that ride. Great visuals and forceful in the back. John Polizzi, favorite coaster manufacturer. Right now, probably RMC, but I really like Intamin too. Yeah, me 33. I don't think Dragster's reopening this summer, but you never know. Any Great America tips planning to visit this summer? I have a review that gives a recommended touring plan for that park. Ross Waldman, I don't mind Epcot getting rethemed to get more characters in there, just because I love the Disney characters. I mean, look at the shirt I'm wearing. Good usernames are rated favorite coaster game. Planet Coaster, I think, is the best one, but the easiest one just to pick up and play is Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. Channel, I love Silverwood. I think that park's only 40 years old or even 30 years old, but it feels like an old traditional park with how it's set up, and I love the coaster lineup there. Simon Patel, I'd like to see Great Adventure get another launch coaster for the 50th, but not sure what they're adding. Titanic, what's the funniest train you've seen? I think Theme Park Crazy made a video of the weirdest trains. There was one where it was like some rip-off SpongeBob that looked just really wrong. Joey the Gamer, thoughts on Phobia at Lake Compounds? Phobia is a fun ride, probably one of the best Skyrocket 2s because of how you don't have comfort collars or seatbelts. I do enjoy those rides. Joshua Eoff, my favorite coaster at Six Flags St. Louis is Mr. Freeze, very intense ride. Joy, do you think Pantheon's in the top 10% coasters? Yes, I do. Charge on PC. Worst ride you've ever ridden? Probably Coaster Express. That ride's wretched. Good usernames are raid. Congrats on 14K. Thank you for the kind words. Upbeat Terraria. Worst park you've been to? Probably NASCAR Speed Park because they lied about ride availability and it wasn't too good to begin with. That guy you know. Top 2 parks in Germany. Europa and Phantasialand. 2 of the best parks in the world. Logan Powell. Worst injury at a ride? I mentioned this in my Nothing But Net review, but probably that ride when I think I did something on my meniscus. Well, I know I did something on my meniscus when I landed. My knee was pretty sore for the next month or so. Bruce Gibson, thank you for the kind words. Levi B, I have been evac'd on a few coasters. Mentioned it earlier, but Talon on the lift hill at Dorney Park for a thunderstorm. Been evac'd from Oscar's Wacky Taxi, Roller Soaker. Yeah, but I've been evac'd from a few rides. Joy, of the coasters you listed there, Canobie's is my favorite of that bunch, and Busch Gardens Williamsburg is second. Then there's a pretty steep drop off after that. Coaster Bros. My favorite park in California is Disneyland, but if you like coasters, I think your top priority should be Magic Mountain. Titanic. If you literally demolish a coaster and build the exact same model there, everything's brand new. Yeah, I'd say that's a new credit. Charge on PC. Favorite coaster or theme park soundtrack? I love the one for Helix to Lisaberg. I know it's a common one, but music's so good. Replacing your park meetings, top 10 theming and thrills there. Entertainment. Would you ever consider vlogs? No, like I said, I'm at the park. I don't want to be stressed about filming a vlog while I'm there. I have not ridden Tron in Asia, but I'm looking forward to trying the Kingdom when it comes there. Layouts proposed to go to the town. That's just what's going on. I was tapped into that project with other people. It's the last of the comments that I'm going to get. Like I said, it's getting pretty late here. I need to have dinner. But thanks again for tuning in. Thank you again for watching the videos. I enjoy making these. Thank you for anyone who made it. If I didn't get to any of your questions, I will feel free to shoot them in a comment to this video, and I'll reply to them. I'll say thanks to Quacken's Coaster channel for bringing and trying to keep the chat clean. I know there was a playing bot that popped up, but yeah, all the parks, and I'll enjoy it with others. Thanks, everyone.